Hello everybody, I am Christine the Mean and I am here with another episode of Fantasy Clash and Clash Esport News for you. So let's get this thing kicked off. It is the 9th of February 2021 and there's a lot going on in the world of Clash. So we're going to start out with a little bit of fantasy stuff. So the Fantasy Clash, we finished up the finals of the UWL. And what you're seeing here is the final championship score from the Bharat versus Benelux Esports last war. And holy moly, that was a good war. But look at Bharat puts up a 14 to win the championship in the UWL. Benelux Esports scrapped their way through the entire bracket to make it to the final, but just didn't quite have the triples in them. So Bharat does indeed win this. So let's just, I just want to run through. We had triples on the Bharat side from Kratos, Papa Magambo, Kartik, and Pritish, and then a double from Manish. On the Benelux Esports side, Black Doritos pulls out a triple with Rick, Tristan, General Boo, and Truls, all with some doubles. So it was a good war, but Bharat was pretty strong. And you can even tell by the percents here, you know, a 96.4 to an 83.8. So Bharat wins it. Bharat deserves that championship. Nice going for them. Now, how does this impact a fantasy? Oh boy, this was funny. Okay, so we had two fantasy players in the championship finals. We had Wow Who Cares, and you're seeing his roster at the top, and we had one of Dawson's accounts, and you're seeing his at the bottom. So Wow Who Cares gets the Trolls, Papa, the double from Trolls, the triple from Papa Mangambo, the double from General Boo, the double from Pritish, and has the Benelux Esports. Wait, I have that backwards. Trolls was a double, Mangambo was a triple, General Boo was a double, Pritish was a triple, and the Benelux Esports defense. The problem is, Wow Who Cares only had 4 players. So if you look at the Dawson one in the lower left, he had a triple from Kartik, 3 doubles from Manish, Rick, Tristan, the triple from Kratos, and the Bharat defense. So he had 5 players. So what the heck happened? Well, Black Doritos played. So Black Doritos shows up, pulls off a triple. Black Doritos triples in the final, and he is not on any fantasy roster. So obviously neither Wow Who Cares or Dawson thought that Black Doritos would show up and even play. You know, they were trying to gamble on who's going to play, and neither of them thought Black Doritos would play. So Black Doritos triples as a free agent. Dawson wins the fantasy championship for the UWL he had a very strong season, but it was a little unfair. Well, I don't know if it's unfair. It's just kind of one of the things of the game that Dawson ended up with 5 players that played, and Wow Who Cares ended up with only 4 because Black Doritos comes out of nowhere with that triple. So congratulations go to Dawson. He is now a 3-time champion for fantasy. He seems to have figured out how to play this game pretty well. And we are pleased to have him as a 3rd-time winner. So the other event that we have going on from a fantasy perspective right now is Events Hub Winter Championship. So we had the round of 8 just finished up, and I'm just showing the fallout here. Exit Esports won over King Circle. Silent Snipers knocked out Team Pushers. PX Rock knocked out TUM. And Ocean Oasis Alpha lost to Metagaming right out of the bracket. So we were left with 2 semifinal matches left. Exit Esports versus Silent Snipers, and PX Rock versus Ocean Oasis Alpha. Those are the remaining 2 semifinal matches to be done in Events Hub. From a fantasy perspective, you recall this was our bracket that we were looking at. I had Dion and Welsh Wizard up in the top left. Both of them kind of inactive, so it's not clear. We had Hammy and Candor in the bottom left. Overthinkers versus Shawnee Sean in the upper right, and Dawson versus Basso in the lower right. So Now the upper left where we have two inactive players is boring. I'm not going to talk about that. But the lower left, Hammy versus Candor. This is what happened in the round of 8 here. You can see that at the end of it, Hammy does win over Candor. Candor was kind of all in on the Manda. And, you know, this wasn't, they're not that far apart. So, Candor had 2 triples, 3 doubles, had a 12-point defense. Hammy had 2 triples, 3 doubles, and an 11-point defense. I think it came down to kind of that defense score. The defense score, you know, Lost Meta Gaming did lose their war, but they defended pretty well. And so that 11-point, 96.6 defense put Hammy into the finals and knocked Candor out because Manda had a 12. So Hammy makes it to the finals. Candor gets knocked out. As we move to the upper right part of our bracket, we had the Overthinkers team, piloted by Tuath Day versus Shawnee Sean, who is one of the Events Hub organizers. And this also was a close match. Now, Tuath ended up with 3 triples, 2 high doubles, and 11-point defense. Shawnee Sean had 3 triples, 2 high doubles, and a 13 on defense. So once again, that defense score was worth a couple hundred points for Tuath Day and the Overthinkers. And she will move on in the bracket, and Shawnee Sean has been knocked out. And then the last one we had, Basso versus Dawson. So, you know, Dawson was our 3-time champion. Well, here we go. Look at him. He is not going to be our 4th-time champion. So Basso ends up with 3 triples, 2 doubles, and a team defense. Dawson didn't get a single triple in this round. And so he ends up falling out, and Basso has squashed our 3-time champion in fantasy. So we update the bracket, and we've got Dion versus Hammy in the first semifinal, and Tuath Day's Overthinkers versus Basso in the second semifinal. So we're looking forward to that. Now, one of these wars has happened already. So here we go. The first semifinal war, PX Zorak versus Ocean Oasis Alpha, already happened, and oh my gosh, was this a fun war to watch. It was like there were just a lot of triples, a lot of really good attacks. You know, PX Zorak was ahead for a lot of it. I thought they might win. You know, they actually did their percents higher. Ocean Oasis Alpha managed to pull off an extra star. So you look at, you know, John and Tom O and God, one of the gods, and Yeel all tripled for Ocean Oasis Alpha. On the other side, we have Maverick. Really, she had a nice triple in there. Doyer, Money Talks, triples for PX Zorak. But Ocean Oasis Alpha does win it. And how does this impact fantasy? Well, oh boy. Now this round is not over, so this is not over. But take a look at Tuath Day's roster in the lower left there. In that one war, she managed to grab 5 triples. 5! There were only 7, and she got 5 of them. She got the one from one of the gods from Ocean Oasis Alpha, Tomo, Money Talks, Doyer, and Maverick were all on her roster. So she already has a perfect offense score. In order for Basso to match that, he's got to pull out 4 more triples out of the one remaining war. So he does have Catatonic and Demolisher from Silent Snipers, Philip, Martin, Eyewitness, and Don Betta from Exit. So it's not like he can't do it. It's possible. But he really needs to go perfect here and hope that most of those players play and that they triple. And now we have not have either of the team defenses up yet. So we'll have, I mean, it still could go either way. But Basso is looking at Tuath Day's score sheet and going, oh no. So that's Events Hub where we're at with Events Hub and with the fantasy game. Stay tuned. The next semifinal is on Friday, and so I'll probably have an update for you on that next week. We'll see if Basso is able to pull off a win against Tuath's perfect offense. All right, let's move on to some Twitter news. There is just a lot of league news right now. Not so much Twitter and roster, but there's a lot of news. So I'll move through this fairly quickly. So Team 99% has tweeted out that it is official they have become Orcs GP. They've got the same lineup. That is unchanged, but they are now officially Orcs GP. So we will watch for that. It looks like their manager is Trexer, and Corentin is the captain, and they've got players Nico Arcos, Killers, Luffy Dragnir. So we'll watch for Orcs to show up in our league brackets. We had an announcement from Evolute TFCC Esports. They announced 2 rosters, and they claim more is coming. So here we go, 2 rosters. Now, they managed to make the heads big on these guys, which on the one hand, it makes their heads big, and on the other hand, it makes their bodies look small, which I think is funny. I'm not going to read through all the names, but TFCC Esports, Evolute, has named 2 rosters. It's really long. Team Evolute TFCC Esports. I kind of want them to shorten that up because it's like this. It just doesn't. It's like there's too much. I want them to be Evolute or TFCC. It's like when you put them together, and to me, I hope your rosters do really well, Team Evolute TFCC, but I really want you to shorten your name. Whew. Okay. Next, we had Golden X. Golden X has announced their main roster. So their main roster for 2021, Boss, Camwow, Desneal, Jack the Great, KP, and is this Oat or Odie? I don't know, Venom, and Zinch. So that is the main roster. Now, Golden X historically has fielded numerous rosters, so it will be interesting to see what the remainder of the numerous rosters look like. I kind of expected that they would announce all of them, and we only got 1. So we will stay tuned. Maybe there will be more news next week. Next item from Twitter, Reddit Hydrogen Green has announced a roster. So I kind of feel like they're going through a rebrand, and they've decided that they're not going to use the name Reddit, and they're going to call themselves Hydrogen Green. I think there's something going on here. They have announced Chief Dad as the captain, Cobbs as the manager. Okay, and these are a little hard to say. Kipper Gills, Old McDonald, Kennedy Knows as the other players, with some reserves of Nimbus, Super, and Marquise of Death. Marquis of Death. So we should watch for Hydrogen Green to show up in some of these competitions. Next, okay, last week I talked about the troubles at INTZ. And this week we have news. So Bernal, who previously had said he was retired and only pushing, his Twitter profile now says that he is a professional player for NGT Legends. Additionally, Celino, formerly of INTS, did one of those signing of the contract tweets and has changed his Twitter name to NGT Celino. And furthermore, then NGT Legends has announced, they are proud to announce their new roster. Bernal, Celino, Patalino, Clash, Vitor Almeida, Achilles, and yeah, that's it. So that's their roster. I was surprised. I kind of thought Celino and Marinal were trying to play together, and Marinal is suspiciously not on this list. So I don't know. We'll have to stay tuned and see what happens with Marinal. But it is clear that at least some of our friends from INTS have moved over to NGT Legends. Moving on to league news. There is just a ton of league news. I apologize in advance. So Fury is in the playoffs, round of 16. This is the list of the clans that are still in it, and their round of 16 matchups. Titan Esports versus FTW, M2 Ninja versus Team H2O, Space Station versus QSFN, Dark Unicorns versus MB Esport, Method to Madness versus Camilo Royals, RTI versus UOL Hell, Barat versus WTKES, Barat coming off that UWL win, watch out for them, and Resistance versus Zombie Doom. So that is the round of 16 for Fury. That should be happening this week. FCA. All right, so this is a sign up. I mentioned it last week. I'm just going to mention it again. The registrations end on 16th of February. There are prizes. The teams I'm associated with have chosen to not do this because it's one of those where you've got the game TV thing that they require every single person who wants to play to be in their server. And we don't like those. The team reps don't mind it, but all the players really don't want to go into the server. And it just ends up being like such a fiasco of effort to try to get everybody all registered with the bot that my teams have decided to not register for this. But you know, there are others who certainly will. So again, first place $50 and 5 custom bases. Head on over there and give it a sign up if you don't mind the trouble. Other leagues, okay, there's a whole bunch that are kind of currently in play. Those are still in play. They're playing Pitt, WCL, EYG, Boom, CCF Excellency, Clash Masters, Clash Champs, TWL, and the Intercontinental. Those are all still in play. Black Widow has moved into playoffs, and the playoffs round of 32 should start on February 15th. I'm not going to read all of these because the round of 32, there's a lot there to read. It seemed like I did notice something. Okay, I did notice NGT Legends in here, so we just talked about NGT Legends. They are in the Black Widow. I don't know the roster rules, so I don't really know if they just signed people, if they can add them or not. But they are still there, and I think that's the one that I noticed here. All right. LIC finished up their season and announced their champion, Queen Walkers, as the big winner of the LIC, with second place going to RTK and third place going to Exalt Might Legion Divina. So it is great. That was a great competition. It was good to see all the good wars happening for LIC. I think LIC did a nice job of running their league, and it's good to see them announcing the winner. So congratulations go to Queen Walkers for their big win in the LIC. Next, we have the Dutch War Competition Season 6, who has crowned Forbidden as their winner. So I thought I would throw that in there. Congratulations to Forbidden on that win. UWL we already talked about, but I thought I would show you the poster with Barat as the champion and Benelux Esports as the runner-up. Okay, that was a great war, but check out that new Benelux Esports logo. That thing is lit, if you ask me. So you turn it sideways and you can see, you know how they're a lion? You can see how it's still like this lion, but it's sideways. That is a nice logo. I am just gonna put that out there. Blitzkrieg. Okay, Blitzkrieg had their championship final this week, and Never Back Down beat PX Zurach in that final. You know, I watched one of those wars, and I watched one that PX Zurach won, and I thought they were for sure going to win it because they looked really, really good, really strong. But I guess it was the best of 3, and I didn't see all of them. So I saw this announcement, and I went on, and I thought, oh yeah, sure enough. So anyway, congratulations to Never Back Down on the win in Blitzkrieg. Oh yeah, I didn't update that. Skip the Top Warriors Cup is still in playoffs. Events Hub, I wanted to point this out. Events Hub Champions League has been announced. I stole this image from a couple of days ago, but they are currently in the sign-up phase. So there is a new league, $500 prize pool. We're put on by Event Hub. They do a nice job putting on their events. So just think about whether that is something that fits for you. 180 teams. It's going to be a lot for them. It'll be good to test them a little bit on running a bigger league. But sign up. Wizard Cup. Now, I don't have all the deets on this one yet because applications open tomorrow. So I will stay tuned for more on this, but there is a new Wizard Cup prize pool of $100 and 20 base designs, all, typical Town Hall 13 esports. So stay tuned for that. Applications open tomorrow. Champions Mixed Cup. All right, so this has been announced, and it appears to be that there are 4 different organizers. The Rambo Tourneys, TWC, Clash Affiliations, and Holo Wee Wee. And it appears that they are each going to hold a 64-team bracket, And then the winners of each of those brackets will play off against each other for the $1,000 prize pool, I think. Now, this says registrations begin on February 12th. The rule book and the information's a little thin right now, but I kind of thought this was an interesting concept of being able to, you know, like if you have previous experience with one of these servers, then maybe it's easier to sign up with that one. I don't know. I'm excited to see how this one plays out, but that was announced on February 7th with registrations beginning on February 12th, and we will continue to monitor how that one goes. Holo Wee Wee has announced that the 2021 season has started. Now, I translated this using the Google Translate on Twitter. So the schedule registrations start on the 8th of February. The last day would be the 20th of February. And wars from the 25th to the 28th. So if that's all, if it's just the 25th to 20th, then that's got to be a single elimination tournament. I have not taken a peek at all of the rules yet, but the registrations are open for Holo Wee Wee. So go check that one out. Mythical War League. Important dates. This is still open, so their signups close on March 1st. This thing has a $500 prize pool for their Hydra esports division. It's kind of a typical league structure with a group stage followed by some kind of a playoff. Week 1 starting on March 13th. Town Hall 13 Community has a Diamond League that's out there. So Season 2 of Diamond League, registrations are open until February 16th. It is a single elimination tournament, so I always like those. I'm fond of the just start right out in a single elim. I like that. But anyway, if you make it to the championship final, it has some kind of funky rules about the troop restrictions. Like there's one war where it's all air or something like that, and one war where it's all ground, and it's a best of 3 with some interesting troop restrictions that I think would, you know, test whether the people who make it to the championships have the versatility to compete with some of these restrictions. So I thought it was interesting. We'll have to watch this one and see how it continues on. Now, I did notice that Wolfang J is one of the sponsors, so we can expect a lot of good tweets or good streams out of him for the Town Hall 13 at Diamond League. And that is it for the news. Actually, I don't know that that's it, but that's all I'm covering. It just seemed like there was a lot. So just as a reminder, the Competitive Clash Network is out there. We do esports league ratings, which basically means you submit your opinion on a league, and I gather all of those opinions together so that people can decide whether they want to participate in something or not. So right now we've got 8 of those available: Events Hub, Champions War League, Global Clash Cup, Indian Clan War League, UWL, Fury, Team, this is a team. That logo is escaping me. And the MLCW Esports. It's a team, I can't remember. Anyway, show up at the server and you can fill out your form and share your opinion if you're interested. So that is all I have for you today. I am Christine the Mean, and I bring you Fantasy Clash that I run, and then esports news that I just share whatever I can find. I've got a couple of Discord server links for Fantasy Clash, for the Competitive Clash Network, for my Patreon that I will put into the comments. If you have watched this video, please hit the like button, because really, you know, I get 11 people. I'd only get 11 people watching, and I would like to have at least 1 like for it. Thanks. This is Christine the Mean signing off. We'll see you again next week.